ahead and call to order the Nevada Commission for the Reconstruction of the V&T Railway. It is Wednesday, August 14th, 2024, 2:04 p.m. You all are located in the Carson City Community Center Robert Bob Kroll boardroom, and I am on the phone right now. Before I turn the meeting over to Vice Chair Mitchell to run it from the room, I just need to read some things into the record, just for clarification's sake. So, for the record, the Carson City Culture and Tourism Authority Board of Directors on Monday of this week did reappoint me to the commission effective August 1st. So to clarify, my first term ended on July 31st, and my second term began effective August 1st. So there was no break, I guess, per se. So I just want to make that known on the record. In addition, I also was sworn in prior to the meeting today by Tamar with the clerk recorder's office. So I just wanted to make that a part of the record. And if I may, Vice Chair Mitchell, I'll turn over running the meeting to you, sir.
I'll be happy to do so. Thank you very much for getting us started and for clarifying that. Tamar, are you okay taking us through a quick roll call?
Sure. Chair Peterson, I know you're here.
Present. Yep. Present.
Vice Chair Mitchell,
I'm here.
Treasurer Cruz, Secretary Hicks,
Here.
Commissioner Schmitter. We have a quorum.
Yeah, I believe she is online.
Leah, are you on the phone?
I am on the phone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Thank you kindly. So, and thank you for that determination that we have a quorum. Let's go ahead and go to our next item, which is a Pledge of Allegiance. If you feel so inclined to join us in that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll proceed to our next item, which is item number 4, which is public comment. The public is invited at this time to comment on and discuss any topic that is relevant to or within the authority of this body. I will just read the notice about that, and you're welcome to make yourself comfortable there. The V&T Commission will provide at least 2 public comment periods in compliance with the minimum requirements of the open meeting law prior to adjournment. Public comment will be taken at the beginning of the agenda before any action is taken, and again at the end before adjournment. No action may be taken as on a matter raised under public comment unless the item has been specifically included on the agenda as an item upon which action may be taken. The chair or acting chair in this case may call for and allow additional individual item public comment at the time of the body's consideration of the item. When 1, the comment will be provided from a person who is directly involved with the item, such as V&T staff or an applicant, or 2, it involves any persons or entities due process appeal or hearing rights provided by statute or the Carson City Municipal Code. Comments may be limited to 3 minutes per person or topic at the discretion of the chair in order to facilitate the meeting. And with that, we'll go to public comment here in the room.
Hi, thank you very much, Chair, or Sub-Chair. Denny French, Carson City, Nevada. Almost forgot what I was going to say. That was a bit of a spill. Thank you. Basically, my sister would call this a big dang darn deal, and it is. And I'm excited to hear more about it. I am a little concerned anytime we're spending money. I'm not sure if we're spending it or if you're spending it or the government's spending it, but I do want to hear the details, and I'm excited for the idea that they're going to transport such a huge, I mean, that engine's got to weigh how many tons, and then the vehicle itself, and then height and all those considerations. Going to be a heck of a trip. I'd like to sort of not be the fly on that wall, but to have some sort of narrative of that perhaps from people that are involved, because that would be a really quite a journey. That would be the farthest that engine has traveled in many a year. So it would be just a suggestion, but it would be really helpful, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and thank you for this special meeting. Bye-bye.
Very good. Thank you so much, Mr. French. Is there any other public comment, either here in the room or online? It appears that that concludes our public comment for this portion. So we will move on to agenda item number 5, which is for possible action. This is a discussion and possible action regarding a proposed agreement between the Virginia and Truckee Railroad Company, Inc. and the V&T Commission for the rental of engine number 18 and tender, which is known as the equipment, beginning October 21st, 2024 through November 11th, 2024 for the purpose of use in a film production in Montana for an amount not to exceed $40,200 to be paid in 2 installments, one of $20,000 payable upon loading of the equipment in Carson City and one of $20,200 payable upon arrival of the equipment in Montana. As far as kind of introducing this item, I guess I can do that. Mihaela, or do you want to? What's that? Sherry, do you want to introduce this item? Would you like me to introduce this item? What makes the most sense? Quite all right. Quite all right. No, I appreciate your efforts in that regard. So I'll do the best that I can to get that started, and then I certainly would welcome any additional clarity or clarification. So the V&T Commission was approached by the Virginia and Truckee Railroad Company about an opportunity to rent out or use the number 18 steam locomotive as part of a train set to be used in a TV production in Montana. And the filming, the period for filming that the locomotive would be needed, I believe, is a fairly short stretch, maybe a 3-day period right at the end of October, beginning of November. But as Mr. French mentioned during public comment, it's quite an endeavor to get the equipment up there. And so the period for this rental includes the transit time that it's going to take that equipment from our tracks to the site and then the transport to get it back. As I understand the agreement, the amount that we will be paid, the commission will be paid for use of that equipment is the $40,200 that was mentioned. And all other expenses are to be borne by either the renter, which is the Virginia and Truckee Railroad Company, or the production company that they're working with in conjunction with for the film. Some of the key points of the contract include indemnification against loss, some fairly common things, insurance, both liability insurance, general commercial liability, as well as automobile liability because it's being transported by road, and then a replacement value of $1 million has been assigned to the equipment that we specifically are sending. Now, one of the points of conversation as we were considering this agreement and coming up with something to present to the commission was a concern about how this would fit between our regular running season and the start of Polar Express, which starts in the middle of November. And so the number 18 would be available for our entire regular running season and would not be transported until after that has concluded. It's a fairly tight time frame there, but that's no skin off of our back. That's really on the companies on the other end of this deal to get it loaded and transported in a timely fashion. As far as getting it back in a timely fashion, we don't typically use the number 18 as part of the Polar Express experience. We typically use diesel engines, which are provided by the Virginia and Truckee Railroad Company. And so there's really no concern from that perspective on whether we'll have this equipment back in time. It won't be needed for our next operations until the following year. The one kind of tangential concern is that part of the set of cars that are going for this includes one that is used for the Polar Express. And so that will need to be back in time for the Polar Express, but that responsibility lies with the Virginia and Truckee Railroad Company. So that is the contract that we're presenting for consideration to the commission today. It's an opportunity for this piece of equipment of ours to get a workout and maybe a little bit of limelight. And I'd open it up for questions or discussion from the commission, unless you have something to add, Mihaela.
The only other thing I wanted to add is in regards to the insurance. One of conditions that we precedent to this agreement taking place is the provision of adequate insurance that added the VNT Railroad Commission to the insurance certificate, and that was provided to us prior to this meeting. And we have reviewed that, so I just wanted to add that to
Very good.
what was discussed.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions or comments right off the bat from my fellow commissioners? Yeah, go ahead, Stephanie.
I just had two questions. I think probably both are minor, but in section 6 under permits and waivers, so it says that both the renter and the rentee agree to comply with federal, state, county, and municipal laws and regulations and rules while acting in connection with the filming and or recording. I guess my question is, I mean, I don't know what those rules are that have to do with filming and recording specifically, and we aren't going to be part of that, even though our equipment is. So I guess just help me understand why we need to be in that section as well.
And that is a great question. I would definitely read this in conjunction with applicable laws, which are the state laws of the state of Nevada, and that is under section 14 and First Judicial District Court. So when you are to read those together, if there are any pertinent municipal codes, those would be the ones that apply to the state of Nevada and to Carson City or Story County specifically. Those are very limited, and it's probably more of a theoretical application than practical.
Then my second question actually is under section 14. So it does list that the jurisdiction is First Judicial Court of State of Nevada in and for the County of Story. And I guess I just question that because of our district attorney's representation being out of Carson, that is okay, that it's Story instead of Carson.
So the First Judicial District Court actually covers both Carson City and Story County. So we have just one district court, and actually the district court judges that are mostly in Carson City also preside in Story County monthly. So it's basically the same thing.
Thank you.
And would not affect our ability to represent you in Story County as well.
Thank you.
And most likely, if there was court action, it would happen down here anyway, because they don't like to use the courthouse up there if they can help it. So
I wonder why Vice Chair Mitchell knows all that.
Yes, it's been a point of contention. So very good. Leah, do you have any questions or comments?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Chair Peterson, do you have any questions or comments?
Yes, thank you, Vice Chair Mitchell. Dave Peterson for the record. I just wanted to, thank you, Clay and Mihaela, for working on this, and Tom, of course, for bringing the opportunity forward. I do think this is a wonderful opportunity. You hit the nail on the head about getting us some exposure on arguably an international, a global level. So I'm super excited about that. And I just, maybe for the record, the way I was looking at this, I know there was a comment earlier about it being a cost or something to the city or the county or the commission, but I look at this as a revenue agreement. So we're actually bringing in revenue to the VNT Railway Commission. So, there's actually no cost to us at all. It's a revenue opportunity for us. So I just thought I would make mention of that. And then Clay, you did say, and I apologize because of some of the noise here, you did say that the passenger cars will be back in time for Polar. I think I heard you say.
Yeah, that's the understanding. But again, that's really not something that we have control over. And so the affirmative responsibility in that regard is on the Virginia and Truckee Railroad Company to provide what they've committed to provide us for the operation of the Polar Express. And so they are expected to be back. It's a fairly tight window. I think if they're coming back on the same schedule as the number 18, there's maybe a 3 or 4 day window between what they've budgeted time-wise and when we would need them for those first rides. My understanding, again, is that it's just one of the 4 cars that we are planning to use that specifically we will need back, that there's no replacement or backup, and so that's kind of the extent of the risk, if you will. But again, it's tangential. It's not really covered by this agreement because it's not a car that we own.
Right. Yeah, it'd be covered, I guess, under our charter services train agreement that we have with VTRR. So, okay, no, that's great, Tom, Clay, sorry. So I appreciate that. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you. Great job, you guys. Appreciate you pulling this together. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah. And our thanks to Tom for bringing this opportunity to us. One of the discussions that we had in putting together this proposed contract was, is this a reasonable amount to charge for a rental of a piece of equipment like this? It's pretty unique, not a lot of comparables. And I have very, very minor experience with renting equipment, and it seemed to be within the ballpark, if you will. I know that when I buy a piece of equipment, if I'm going to rent it out, I want to recover my original costs, typically somewhere between 10 to 20 uses or rentals, and that seems to be about in line with what was originally paid for this locomotive, and so it seemed to be reasonable. And at a time when we wouldn't be using it otherwise, it seemed like an opportunity worth considering. So, very good. Is there? I guess we'll open it up for public comment. If on this particular item, is there public comment on this item? It's up to you. We got the time if you want to.
I didn't want to take anybody's time. This is a big day for you all, and also it's a big day for me. I've learned just in this sitting so much about y'all that I have more to do as far as research. But if there was an opening, just to let you know, I'm opening to, I could be an extra. Just the words out. I am available. I don't go cheap. But if you give me the ride in the truck with the vehicle, thank you.
Appreciate that. And
I'm sorry, Denny French, Carson City.
thank you kindly, Mr. French. We'll let the renter know that that's a possibility. Very good.
This is Tom Gray. Can you guys hear me?
Hi, Tom. Go right ahead.
You can hear me? Okay. I just want to thank you all for doing that. And yeah, Clay's much more articulate than I am, and more accurate. Yeah, the only problem, is it seemed like a win-win all around. The biggest risk we're taking is not getting the one coach ready in time, but I'm pretty sure we can. We're doing everything ahead of time that we can. So, and we put it in the other contract, pretty stiff terms if it's not. So I think they know it's a deal breaker for me if they couldn't get that car back in time to release it to us. And then, but I don't see any problem at all happening with that. So I think everything, we'll be on fire getting everything to and from the movie and ready for Polar. But I think everything should work out fine. And thank you.
Very good. Thank you. And I appreciate you clarifying that for us. The one other thing that I did want to mention that I believe is in here is really the only alteration that's allowed to the equipment is a temporary placement of decals or visual representations on it, putting those on and taking them back off. Otherwise, we're not allowing them to alter the equipment in any way. And so I just thought that was worth mentioning. So. Well, with that in mind, we'll go ahead and close public comment. And if there's no further comment or question from the board, we'll bring this item to a vote. And so all those in favor of approving this contract. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you very kindly. So at this time, I will accept a motion, one way or the other, on this particular item.
I will go ahead and make that. I move to approve the agreement between the Virginia and Truckee Railroad Company Incorporated and the V&T Commission for the rental of engine number 18 and tender as discussed on the record.
Very good. We have a motion that was
I'll
Stephanie.
second that, Clay.
Very good. Thank you. We have a motion from Stephanie, a second from Dave Peterson. Last chance. Any further discussion on this item? Very good. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much. With that, we'll move on to item number 6. This is the final opportunity for public comment at this meeting. We'll open it up with the same stipulations and items that were expressed during the opening public comment. Is there public comment at this time? Very good. It appears there's no public comment, and so we'll move on to our final item on this agenda, and that is to adjourn. This meeting is adjourned at 2:25 p.m. Thank you kindly, everyone, for your participation.
Thank you.